Hey, we're going to improve your view right now, and that's because we've invited PJ Davey to join us in on the studio. PJ Davey is, well, we were talking about LLC. Is Paint It Forward an LLC?
It is.
It's a limited liability corporation. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So you should be attuned to everything that's going on in the state right now about the LLC tax and Governor Lynch potentially repealing that, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Paint It Forward. Paint It Forward is the name of this company that PJ Davies started. And PJ, right off the bat, just why don't you give our listeners, you tell us about yourself, where'd you come from, and what is Paint It Forward? Why are you doing this now?
So I've been a part of the Nashua community for the last, I'm dating myself, about 20 years now, almost coming up on 23 years.
Okay.
And, it's a town that I've called home for a very long time. And obviously I've been in and out between, college and I went away to high school, but, finally settled back in. And, for the last, 6 years or so, I've been in high-tech software sales. And, when my son was born, he's going to be 5 in a couple weeks. I was a painter prior to that.
I've got a 2-year-old.
Yep.
Almost 2, 19 months.
Very fun age.
Yeah.
So what I did was, when he was born, I was painting. Being the Irish guy that I am, I decided to drop the paintbrush and the paint clothes and turn it in for a shirt and tie because, I just thought my son seeing his father going to work and, all dressed up,
Sure.
I'd gain a little bit more respect from the little dude. So, but, spending the last 6 years in software sales, I was never able to sell anything that I was passionate about. I couldn't get enthusiastic about database software.
No, really? No, that wasn't something that just...
And, and those 6 years, I've sold everything from Kirby vacuums to, to CRM applications to database software. And it was, just being a talker, it was easy to talk about.
I don't know if you had gone into ERP systems, maybe the city of Nashua just bought a $7 million ERP system.
Did they really?
Yeah. So you know what CRM, you could have graduated up to ERP and maybe.
But yeah, it was it was good. The 6 years was a good experience because I was able to hone in on those sales skills that I knew I had. But I was always curious to see how good of a salesperson I would be if I actually sold something that I was passionate about. So I love my son. I know he loves me. So I actually ended up going back to painting because I came to the realization that I do love painting and I'm actually pretty good at it. So I decided to make a business out of it. And, but I really wanted to try to give back to the community, so I tried to figure out ways to how to do that with a paintbrush. And that's when I came up with the idea for Paint It Forward. So the premise is pretty simple, so for every 10 paid painting jobs that we complete, we donate a head-to-toe room makeover for somebody in the community who's either what we call served, suffered, or survived. Served our country over in Iraq or Afghanistan. We get letters and stuff from vets who are saying, hey, look, I've been home in 8 months. My wife just gave birth about 3 months ago. I haven't even met my daughter yet. So those type of people, say, hey, look, welcome home. Welcome home to your family.
Very nice idea. I like that.
And we do the same thing for cancer survivors. People who have been hospitalized for the last 4 months, receiving radiation treatment. They finally get to come home cancer-free, start their life over without cancer. And we just figured this would be a nice way to, start a new chapter in their life and, without the cancer and just see how many people are behind them who were rooting for them and wanted to see them recover.
What were those 3 again?
Served, suffered, or survived. The sufferers are anybody who's, fallen victim to the economy, anybody who's lost a loved one unexpectedly, or anybody who just, kind of needs a leg up, just to see that their community's behind them, and that we kind of give them that extra push to say, hey, we support you, we're behind you, and.
So I'll tell you. You were in the Telegraph last week. I think it was probably last Thursday's paper. Yep. And so I do my shows on Thursdays, and I'm talking to George, and I'm saying this would be a fantastic opportunity to get you in on the show to talk about Paint It Forward. And so we really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I don't know.
Thanks for having me.
You're right in the middle of you probably got a job that you're working on right now.
Got paint all over my hands.
So really appreciate you coming in, telling us about this. Now, Paint It Forward. It's sort of like that Pay It Forward. Pay It Forward was a movie that was out of a couple years ago. Again,
Yes.
that same idea of doing something good and passing it on. So with this Paying It Forward, you've got was it an autistic child that you did a makeover room for?
Yes. So the first charitable makeover we did took place about a week and a half ago. It was about a week's worth of work, but it was about 2 months worth of planning. And the cool thing, what we did was, is that we have that model, the 10-for-1 model, but we were curious to see what we could do with just 5 paying customers. And that's what we came up with was a little boy. His name is Corbin Tebow. He lives in Cookson, New Hampshire. He's been diagnosed with pervasive development disorder, which is a form of Asperger's. Thankfully for the family, they caught it early enough where they, it gave them enough time to intervene and really hone in on those skills that, he's lacking as far as, communication and all those other things. So we actually met the family through Facebook, and the mother actually had, a fan page for Corbin's cause, just to sort of create awareness for autism. So, I studied child psychology in college. So it was, so I spent a lot of time with autistic children, working with them. So listening to, their story and some of the challenges that they're facing now, I thought it was a great story and a great way to give back, to that family. So what we did was, when we walked in the house, typically we do bedrooms, but we saw this playroom. This playroom was absolute chaos, because of, they have a tendency to just kind of grab things. So for the mother being at home with 2 small kids, so Corbin's 4 and Levi's 2, so both of those guys in a small room, with a lot of toys at their disposal, it created a lot of cleaning up for the mom. And it was difficult for her because she actually suffers from carpal tunnel syndrome in both of her hands.